Hey buddy, it's Peter, and this is the 2025 Can Am Outlander 1000R, but it's the XT model. Now, we've looked at a lot of these Outlanders here at Extreme Torque Motorsports in the past, but I think I've found my favorite, and there's a whole lot of reasons to like this. First of all, you've got a new engine, a double overhead cam engine with over 100 horsepower. That's reliable. You've got automotive style wheels. We're gonna talk about some of the little details in here, but you've also got class leading things like class leading suspension and that kind of thing. So you've got a lot of things built into this, and of course, this is the Max model, this 2-passenger version, so you can take someone with you. It's an inexpensive way to get a side-by-side that isn't a side-by-side, but still have all kinds of features that you would want. It really is an intriguing unit, and this video, we're gonna go over the details to help you decide if it's right for you. So before we go too far, I am filming here at Extreme Torque Motorsports. They give me absolute, complete access to everything the BRP recreational products has. So BRP, there's snowmobiles, there is ATV side-by-sides, there's the 3-wheel vehicles, the Rikers, the Spiders, and the Canyon. There's also new 2-wheel vehicles coming, so we're gonna have access on this channel to everything. The electric motorcycles, right on through everything, even the boats. We're gonna have everything on this channel. We've already done a bunch last year, but for 2025, we're gonna try to cover every possible thing. So if you are interested in their products, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna make sure I cover it. And if you have questions about it, you can ask me questions in the comments, or if there's things you wanna see, let me know what you wanna see, and I'll do my best to get them all on video, to get your answers back on video. I do my best to read as many comments as I can. I think I read almost all of them, but I can't always respond to every one of them, but I do take your comments and turn them into videos. So if you have questions here about these kinds of things, let me know. We'll get it on video. Let's get going with this review. So in this video, I'm gonna try to show you some of the things that the other videos aren't showing you, but I also just wanna talk about some really basic stuff that you're gonna be able to pick out for yourself when you walk in the showroom. When I walked in the showroom and saw this sitting there, it absolutely stood out. So first of all, colors never represent perfectly on camera for a lot of reasons. My camera doesn't pick up what my eye sees. Your screen, my screen may not display, and I do sometimes do some color correction editing, just a little bit of stuff, just because I'm in sometimes some darker areas. Bigger point is, this red is kind of like that Mazda red that everybody kind of agrees is like one of the best reds in the industry. This is a lot like that. It's got a metallic color. It just stands out to your eye. It looks super sharp. But the other thing that they're doing here is they're putting in, we're gonna get a closer look in a second, but they're putting on automotive style wheels. And to me, if you're buying something in 2025, it shouldn't have the same wheels that your 1982 XYZ, whatever it is, had with the steely wheels. You should have something that's upgraded, and they could do that. And again, on something like this, what I like about this is it's a little bit understated, but quality looking. So you wouldn't guess that this is the ultra sport 1000 horsepower or 1000 cc over 100 horsepower unit. It just looks like a great quality, capable trail unit. And sometimes they, in this industry, kind of cartoonify things with big, powerful engines, where this feels mature, feels responsible, and I think that's kind of the buyer it's going to appeal to. Lots of power, lots of ability, lots of fun, but again, it looks like just a really quality, nice, almost a luxury type unit. So I think there's something going for that as they sort of evolve some of the styling. But let's talk about practicality. Let's start at the front, we'll work our way back, we'll take a look at the dash and talk about the features as well. All right, we're gonna start at the front here, and I wanna show you just a couple little things that aren't showing up great on camera. Maybe we can get a different angle in a second there. But you've got the LED sort of marker lights here. Those are sort of built into the area, so when we turn them off in a second in the next shot here, you're gonna notice that they almost disappear. So you've got those marker lights, but you've also got these quality LED lights. So you've got a quality automotive looking wheel, you've got an automotive looking light, and again, it kind of leads to this overall feeling of quality. Now, this isn't by any means the only model to have LED lights. This one does. Many others do as well. But one other thing that's kind of unique is this crash bar up front, this brush bar up front. There's no tubes in here except for this. Everything has a different shape to it rather than just the standard tube. So it doesn't look like it's sort of homemade and slapped on. It looks like it's factory. And again, these are the types of things that don't show up in video, but when you see it in person, it really is quality. So we're gonna get those lights turned off, we're gonna switch the angle, and then we're gonna talk about suspension, travel, all these things that kind of matter and make it class leading. So starting at the front here, one thing I want to show you here is these arched double A-arm suspension, and that arch really matters. A lot of times you're seeing this on side-by-side, you're not seeing it all the time on ATVs. So you've got that arch there that's going to give you better ground clearance through the center. So again, a lot of companies are going to advertise a center ground clearance number that does not extend far enough out for actual use. And they can actually take several inches off of that if you just go straight down to here and you don't build it for proper ground clearance. So let's talk about that ground clearance. It's 11.5 inches, and I can tell you that the side steps look even higher than that. We'll get back to that as we go around the side. You've got front wheel travel of 10.8 inches here, rear travel of 12 inches, and that's some of the most suspension travel in this class. So really, really good suspension travel. You've got 14-inch wheels with 26-inch tires. Trail King 2 tires is what they have. And then, of course, you've got a winch up front, 3,500-pound winch, which is a very strong winch. And the thing I like about all of it is it's really built in cleanly. You've also got these tow hooks built in here. I haven't got the best angle to show you. You've got one here, one there. And again, very solid feeling. The sense of quality on this is absolutely exceptional. Let's move around the side, look at a couple features there, and then we're going to take a look at some of the electronics on this and explain them, talk about them, how they work. So taking a look at the tires here, these actually remind me of my 2021 Jeep Wrangler a little bit. They have a similar sort of silver outside but black on the interior. You've got the vented disc brakes there all around, so you've got four-wheel disc brakes here. Again, it just looks very, very automotive. If I just put this picture up and told AI to tell me, is this a Jeep or is it something else? Oops, I keep touching my watch here. Sorry about zooming in there. My watch is my viewfinder here as well. Anyways, but if you had these wheels dropped into an AI, tell me what this is, it would probably tell you Jeep, or it would probably tell you something else. It probably wouldn't tell you ATV. You've also got a whole lot of spacing above, so you've got lots of area to clear mud, lots of ground or wheel travel as well, right? We talked about all that wheel travel. But just again, a really quality look here. Now let's take a look back a little further here. We're gonna jump on this thing and show you the sizing of it. So one of the things I find with these two-passenger units, these max chassis type things, is sometimes they can feel really, really big. So first of all, big can be a good thing. I'm about 6 feet tall. You can see I'm very comfortable on here. There's lots of foot space here. I got size 11 feet. Now I'm not wearing my work boots or trail boots or anything like that, but I do have plenty of space to move. So no matter how big your feet are, within reason, you're going to have all kinds of space, and that's again more than some other units. You've got a lot of width as well. Underneath my feet here, there is a plastic, not a steel foot peg. We'll zoom in and show you that in a second here. Other trims do have that steel. I'm sure you could upgrade if you really wanted to. The one thing I really like about this though, Can-Am seats are fantastic. So again, the suspension is doing its job of making sure that the wheels stay in contact with the ground. That's the #1 job. Suspension's secondary job is to provide comfort, but their first job is to make sure the wheels stay in contact with the ground. Can-Am realizes that and gives you really, really good seats that have a lot of cush to it. So those finer vibrations, those long days where those lots of ripples in the trail or whatever, the ones that are going to wear you out, the seat takes care of that for you. So really good seats here. If you've been on a Can-Am recently, you'll know what I'm saying, or been in a Can-Am showroom recently, you'll know what I'm saying, because from their snowmobiles to their ATVs, that kind of thing, really quality seats. Now I'll show you up here, again, stepping back here. Passenger seat is really good. First of all, it wraps around me a little bit, so as the vehicle goes side to side, I feel like I'm locked in, like it kind of hugs my back a little bit. Of course, the hand grips, you've got lots of positions there. We're going to show you all this stuff in a little bit. But the other thing is, it kind of comes up and between legs, it's kind of saddle shaped, like horse saddle shaped in here. And that really keeps you in a good position. It doesn't make you feel like you're like on top of the person in front of you. You've got a good commanding position above them and a good spot here. Now, the other thing I really like is, although it's big, this is where big can be bad. This feels very, very maneuverable. You can really kind of body position, move this thing around very, very well. Some of these units that get to the two-passenger size, they just feel like a big side-by-side that you sit in the middle, and they don't feel like you have a lot of body control over it. So that's what keeps this playful, even with its larger size and large engine. It still has that maneuverability, it still feels very light and fairly small, even though it is a decent-sized unit. Let's talk practicality, and we'll start with the racks first. So let's talk about some of the class-leading pieces of this exact unit. First of all, it's got class-leading suspension travel. We talked about that. It's got class-leading towing, which we'll talk about in a second. Class-leading rack capacity, which is 360 pounds. That is a lot. And they've got, of course, that high-clearance arched A-arms, which they're bragging is sort of a class-leading thing as well. Now, let's show you what you get here. Right now, as equipped, this rear rack and the front rack are level, but you've got some tricks up your sleeve here. So let me see if I can make sure we get this on camera here. Of course, you've got the typical attachment points for all the link accessories, L-I-N-Q, which means if you have accessories for your Sea-Doo, or you have accessories for, you know, even like a Riker sometimes, or a Can Am, different product, but definitely ATVs and everything else. You've got anything from side by sides, you can put your link accessories in here. Now this is also a link accessory. Now because this backrest is in place, and I don't want to take off the back seat, although it is very easy, we'll show you how to do that in a second, this does not open fully. That's one thing I don't love, but it does have a little piece here, which I believe, nope, it does not. Oh, I thought it had a piece where it held up. Maybe the front piece does. Anyways, long story short, this rack, this piece, this storage box, is a free accessory here on this unit. So I'm going to switch the camera angle so you can see, because it can be removed as well. So it's, again, I didn't fully close it. It's just up an inch. We'll close it in 1 second. But if you lift this up here, you can see that there's an attachment point there and there. This whole rack can come out so you can actually, or this storage box can come out so you can actually have sort of a deeper rack which can hold various things in there. I don't see any real need to take this rack out. I think it's super helpful to have a front and rear storage like this. It just slams shut like this. And of course, you want to raise it. You can see on the far side here, you push there and lift. There's one on each side. I got the camera in the middle here, so I can't quite reach it when I got the camera there, but it's very simple, and again, it leaves you with a flat surface. The same idea front and rear, which gives you a lot of practicality. So first of all, front and rear racks sort of level like this, but you can sort of carve that out, especially in the rear here if you want. Let's look a little further down now. So we were looking up there at the rack, kind of looking down at it. We're going to come straight down the unit. You can see the BRP logo. These are actually the brake and tail lights. They are very fine, but they are bright LED, very easy to see, kind of a slick look. And again, a little bit of a painted surface shining through there. And then a really cool exhaust down the center. You've got the sort of frame rails coming down there, which are also, of course, keeping the crash rails. Everything is very centralized, to the point that those arched A-arms on the rear are arched so early to give you more ground clearance outside the wheel that you can't even see it in the shot. It's kind of in the shadows there. So they're arched here and then come back out. So again, those arched A-arms are class leading. Now, down here, you've got class-leading towing capacity as well. And I'm going to grab my cheat sheet because I think it's 1,850 pounds of towing capacity, but I can't remember. Yes, sorry, I was wrong. 1,830 pounds of towing capacity down here in the hitch. Now, what's cool about this is a lot of ATVs, no hitch at all. Some of the competitive ATVs, they simply allow you to bolt in, like they have a bolt hole and they allow you to bolt in a hitch ball. This allows you to take whatever you want, and basically you can take that, you know, whatever hitch you need, you can take for whatever trailer. And again, 1,830 pounds of towing capacity is also class leading. So really sort of deceptively class leading unit here. So moving along to the side of this unit, we're on the, what I would call driver's side here in North America, the left side of the unit. And you can see what I was talking about here. First of all, this ground clearance is exceptional. We're not on a good angle. We're looking down at it instead of straight at it. But that is, I would say, higher than 11.3 inches. And then again, the one thing I pointed out here, some of you may want to swap this out for steel. I don't know that there's a huge need, but you've got good drainage there, lots of foot clearance there. And again, good space for your passengers' feet as well. As we move our way up here, I want to show you a different angle just to show you how to remove that seat there. So taking a look at this rear seat, first of all, you can see that sort of saddle-like thing that comes up here. It separates nicely from side to side, and there's a little bit of space up there, which allows you, again, to have a proper, comfortable seat. Now, it is easily removable as well. You're just going to pull this down. Basically, you've released it there, and it can pop off. We're going to keep it on for right now. You can also see that you've got really good hand grips here, not just sort of like a single bar, but lots of hand positions there. You can sort of see it on the other side there as well. So whether you want to hold like this, or like that, or like this, or like that, whatever you need to do. If you're going downhill, you've got the back grips. You've got a lot of grips, and they're rubber coated, so they're a very soft, grippy material. They're going to work great with gloves. They're going to work great with your bare hands as well if you just take someone on for a short trip. Let's move a little bit forward, take a look at some of the controls now. So before we take a look at the actual buttons and controls and start talking about the electronics, just the basic things here. Your brake lever covered by a proper shield here that's actually anchored to your handlebars. So that means that it's not plastic, just a flap here that if you hit some tree branches, this is going to fold and hit your brake and that kind of thing. So you've got a lot of attention to detail, a lot of quality, a lot of precision in the sort of fit and finish of everything here. But let's take a look at the controls and the dash, and then we're going to start talking about some of the electronics as well. All right, so I'm gonna go wide angle for a second here. It's gonna skew the views for a second as we jump on this unit and try to give you a general sense of what it's gonna look like on here. Now, we showed you the rack at the rear. This is sort of the same idea at the front, and again, this panel here has some storage in there. Speaking of storage, there's also some storage back here. So again, we're still wide angle. It's gonna skew the view a little bit. You push this button in here, and you lift that up, and again, actually less storage, but certainly USB capability. So you got that USB-C. Oops, I just touched my watch again. Got that USB-C port right there tucked into here. Let me just go back to the at least standard angle there. Let's go wide angle here. So you can see that USB-C cord is standard in there. So you've got a place to put your phone right in front of you and keep it charged. Now over here, you've got, I think it's a 7.2-inch dash here. Now because this doesn't have a standard key, it's got this. We got to talk about how this dash stays on. So we're going to talk about some of those features. But this is the BRP key for a whole bunch of stuff. You can program this to run like your Can Am Riker and to run probably your Sea-Doo and this. You can actually use the same key for all of them, but it's an electronically coded key. So it's much more secure than a regular key. It clips on like that, and once it's in place, you can start this up. Now we can hit the start button here and take a look at the dash. This is a pretty standard dash. You've got a few different, the performance key it's telling me. They always give me the good key. So you can see it's in work mode there. Now there are several different modes that you can drive in with this unit. So I'm gonna make sure I get the names right. Work, standard, and sport. So you've got that work, standard, and sport mode. You've also got your DPS here. Let's zoom in there. See where it says DPS is max right there, right over here. So it's dynamic power steering. So you've got a really, basically, for lack of a better term, to make it plain language, you've got an advanced power steering system that has multiple modes that can kind of adapt. You've got a differential lock here that is unique to, it's sort of the Visco lock Can-Am type system. And basically what that means is, of course, if you lock your differential on a traditional ATV, turn the wheels sharp, you lose your steering, it's super hard to do. This one can release and lock that steering based on what you need. So, and then you also have the intelligent throttle control, intelligent emergency or intelligent engine braking. So all of those things can be adapted by pushes of a button, which actually sounds confusing, but is super simple to use. And that's one of the key things is when you start getting into some of these high-tech anythings, that's something that you drive, you want to make sure that it's user-friendly and easy to use, and this one absolutely is. So you can adapt things, you're going to figure out how to use it on the trail. We can talk more about those technologies a little bit later, probably in a future video. Kill switch here, you got your winch right there, you got your start button and your reverse over rev, so you can over rev in reverse there. And then of course you got your high beams and low beams. I gotta say the high beams are impressive on this unit. I don't think most people are gonna wanna add auxiliary lights. What's cool about this is you can see the headlight line right now on the wall in front of us, and you've got that automotive style direct line. So you're not shining in other people's eyes when you've got your headlights on, but when you flash that high beam there, you can see that it is certainly well above that line to give you that distance that you need. So again, the lights just turned off because this key, I haven't started it, so we're just gonna do some battery saving there. Let's see if we can kill it, and it'll go back on. There we go, so lights are back on there. I wanna show you the switch over here. Some people, I think everybody knows this, but high beams, of course, you can lock them on there. And then of course, it has almost like a flash to pass, like motorcycle type thing. So you just wanna tap your high beams on. That's what I was doing to tap the lights there. So simple features there. Again, your work mode is right there, so you can see what mode you're in for driving. We know that the performance key comes in, and then there's also a number of things down here. You can cycle through the menu and the trip using the buttons right in front of you on the dash right there. So not a TFT display or anything like that, but all the information you're gonna need very clearly at hand, temperature gauge, fuel gauge, and the information you need right on hand. And again, this is much easier to see in person than it is to see on video. So let's talk about who this unit is for. Well, first of all, I'm just gonna put it out there. This is the best trail unit that I have reviewed so far since I've been doing videos. This thing really is good. It's absolutely the type of thing that I would buy. I am a more trail-focused ATV type rider. I don't need something that goes crazy through mud. This is gonna go through mud, but it's not designed purely for mud. I like to go on the trails, have some fun, just, you know, generally off the trails, but I'm taking the trails to get various places, or whether they're sanctioned trails or sort of, you know, other kinds of trails, but this thing's gonna be absolutely perfect. What I love about this is the electronics that make it simple to use but effective. It's going to make you a better rider than you actually are, and it's simple to use. Now, Some things to consider. You got that 1000cc engine. Well, there's an 850 as well. The 850 shares this engine. It's still a 1000cc engine. It's just detuned. Now, there is a cost difference between the 850 and the 1000, so you can get a lot of this down in that 850. I don't think, and this is just me talking to the people here and guessing a little bit, I don't think that every part is shared in the engine. I don't think it's just an electronic detune. I think there are some parts and pieces because there is a cost difference. So you can save some money off of this by going with that 850 if that's what you want. 1000R, 100 horsepower, 101 horsepower actually, kind of appeals to me, especially, you know, you got that passenger, you got that all that working capability. You can still have a lot of fun even with a second person, but you can do a lot of work with an engine of this kind of capacity, and I still think there's more in this engine. I don't think it's tuned out to the max. Again, I think it's tuned for reliability over the long term. I didn't mention things like you can easily take off panels, easy maintenance, long maintenance intervals on this. It's just kind of what everybody wants in a ATV, right? In an ATV. So again, it's priced a little higher because it has these good features, but I still think it's very, very, very good value for most people. Can you get less? Yes. Do you need more? And that's where this unit shines. It's literally everything you want, from the sort of throw in like sealed compartments front and rear, charging your phone and that kind of stuff. It's a modern unit that understands how modern riders go, but it's also got all the practicality you could ever want. It's got all the fun most people are gonna ever need. And then it's just got that build quality, that modern look. It's everything you could want in an ATV. And it's right here sort of in that mid pack of that Outlander lineup, mid to upper pack of that Outlander lineup. So again, if you want to see it, check it out at Extreme Torque Motorsports, 3 locations in New Brunswick. But if you want to see more of it and you're not in New Brunswick, you just want to know more, ask some questions on video, let me know in the comments. If you made it this far, hit that subscribe button. I got a lot more to come for you. We'll talk to you in the next one.